And our favorite sports roundup announcer, Father Matt Frisbee. Good morning, Father.
Good morning, Father.
Oh, good morning, Dave and Ron. Good to be with you. You know, this weather is fantastic. There's no doubt about that. And maybe makes us talk about baseball, which we'll just do maybe for the last time in 2024 as the Dodgers won the World Series after our last sports roundup last week. So the Dodgers won it in 5 games, especially that last game. If you are a fan of any other team than the Yankees, you probably loved it because the Yankees had a real meltdown that game.
You sure did.
You know, we really didn't want either of those teams in the World Series, but I think most of America's happy with a Yankees loss.
Yeah, I think so.
Anybody but the Yankees. I know you're not an NBA fan, Father, but you might have to be. Cavs are 8-0, leading the NBA right now.
I know. I saw that last undefeated team in the East, and, really starting out the year well. So, you know, good for the Cavs, good for Cleveland because, of course, the Browns are terrible. They went back to their losing ways on Sunday, and they lost to Jim Harbaugh's, I want to call them the San Diego Chargers, but they're the Los Angeles Chargers now. But I do have to comment on Jim Harbaugh here because I saw after the game he was talking about all the nostalgia. He had a nostalgic moment before the game as he was just remembering his parents got married in Cleveland.
Oh, wow.
And so he was saying the next day, the day after their wedding, they went to a Browns game at Municipal Stadium. So, you know, as much as us Buckeye fans have been annoyed by Jim Harbaugh, there are a lot of human qualities to Jim Harbaugh that are endearing, as much as he drives you crazy as a former head coach of Michigan.
Yeah, it's hard not to like him. It's easier to like him now that he's not the head coach of Michigan. But in any case, big football game this past weekend, Father. Number 3 versus number 4, Penn State versus Ohio State.
Oh, yeah. You know, this was, both head coaches, Ryan Day for the Buckeyes, James Franklin for Penn State, they were feeling the heat because both of them have the reputation can't win the big game. And that game started poorly for the Buckeyes. They were down to a quick 10-0 deficit with Will Howard of pick 6, throwing a pick 6 early in the game. And you kind of felt like, oh, here we go. But the Buckeyes really turned it around and could have won by more. Will Howard, again, that fumble going into the end zone could have given the Buckeyes an 11-point lead and really taking control of it. But nevertheless, the big goal line stand there in the fourth quarter, 4 plays inside the 5 for Penn State, and they get rejected at the goal line. And then the Buckeyes go on and just run the ball for the next 4.5 minutes or so, really, dominating the line of scrimmage to close out the game. So a 20-13 win. Buckeyes are kind of back in the driver's seat a little bit. They'll play Indiana a couple of weeks too. Michigan is playing this weekend. Indiana is undefeated and has won every game handily.
And game balls for that Ohio State game, defense, all of them, and that offensive line, which really proved to be something that wasn't expected.
That's exactly right. Penn State did not score an offensive touchdown in that game. So that right there, and people were kind of questioning this Buckeyes defense a little bit. They really stepped up. The Buckeyes offensive line was severely questioned, and understandably so. And they really stepped up to the occasion. And, they had a few moments. They gave up some sacks and everything. But when it was needed, you saw that grittiness and ability to control the line of scrimmage. Penn State's got a good defense, a good front, and Ohio State was able to run the football.
Yeah, it seems like the Buckeyes, it's a different team now than it was at the beginning of the season. I don't know what happened, but they've really woken up.
Yeah, especially this week. Of course, you want a team to look different from the beginning of the season, too. You want it to kind of grow and progress and mature as the season goes on. So hopefully they can build upon this. They play Purdue this weekend. Purdue's terrible, but has been the perennial thorn in the side for Ohio State, no matter how bad or good they've been. And so you can't have an emotional letdown after a big win like that. It's a big win, a lot of emotions with it, but you still have to come out prepared and focused for the next game.
And if you get through Purdue, you've got that historic showdown, that historic powerhouse that is Indiana, who is actually fabulous this year.
Then they have Northwestern at Wrigley Field after that, then Indiana. But
Not usually a big game on the schedule, but it is a big one this year with if we can both get there and remain undefeated, that Indiana-Ohio State game worth circling.
Oh, it's going to be huge.
Huge.
Thank you, Father Matt Frisbee.
That was not an endorsement. All right.